Today we'll discuss why it's not correct to state that movement is health or that the best posture is the next one. And what I'll do is I'll give you an alternative way to stay healthy at work. Welcome, I'm Olivier Girard, economist, posture therapist, author of the Posture Manual and creator of the Posture Academy. Point number one, why is it incorrect to repeat like parrots these very marketing taglines, the best posture is the next one and so on? Well, it's very well illustrated by the Dutch in these infographics, where you clearly see that alternating between unhealthy postures is not going to make you healthy at the end of the day. Otherwise, I wouldn't work with cleaning ladies, with gardeners, with firefighters, and so on. Which brings me to point number two, which is, okay, but what's healthy then? Well, there are three things that are healthy. Number one, not to sit on your chair for more than 30 minutes in a row. Wait, I didn't say that you should stand for 30 minutes every 30 minutes. I'm saying after 25 minutes, there's a compression happening in your lower back. So ideally, you should get out of your chair twice an hour. Condition number two, over the whole day, from the moment you wake up in the morning till the moment you go to bed, you should stand for 50% of the time, sit for 50% of the time. Condition number three, well, you don't want to stand for too long either when we're talking about standing static. Because when I stand static, this happens, and I'm messing up my knee, my hip, and my lower back. And you see, there's a lot of confusion in my field on standing and walking. We're meant for walking, not for standing on a spot. So how do we combine all that? In other words, how do we, manage to make the difference between stability and lack of movement on the one hand, and on the other hand, between movement and instability? And for that, here is the trick. There are four basic postures that are healthy, and each one of those can be combined with a number of activities. And what you should do is rework your way to use or to alternate between these four healthy postures throughout the day. Posture number one, sitting with your belt supported. This is very compatible with more or less every activity, whether meeting, Zoom calls, working, phone calls, drinking coffee, everything is compatible with sitting like this. And that's a bit the problem. We do it too much. Healthy posture number two, sitting on the spot. But that's symmetric sitting with your pelvis a little bit back and your back, what I call flat. Yeah, the problem is that will not last for more than 3, 4, or 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go like this. So to resolve this, we have the drunk man technique. One foot slightly in front, and you see I'm always on 1.5 feet. The amplitude of the movement doesn't need to be big. It can be very small, but by creating this front back movement, I avoid this lateral deviation. What's this activity for? Well, everything except unless I have an electric desk, what requires an interaction with my keyboard and mouse because they are now too low. But that's okay for Zoom calls, that's okay for speaking with a colleague, that's okay for calling, that's okay for drinking coffee, etc. Posture number three, same business case. I can rest on the wall with my belt supported. Careful, just my belt is supported. Here, that's called the hollow back. So it's kind of the same posture. Here I was sitting, here I'm standing. You see, my belt is supported, the torso is forward. What activities are compatible with that? Same as before. Everything that doesn't require to interact with my keyboard. And posture number four is what? It's walking. When can you walk? Well, for example, for having an informal discussion with your colleagues. When I was working at the university hospital, I was having, bilateral meetings with my colleagues in the forest or on the street. And actually for all those who need to be somehow creative in their profession, well, it will help their creativity a lot. We're not more inventive behind the screen. We're less inventive behind the screen because we're too focused. If we want to be creative, we need to get out of the screen, meaning that one of the big problems in today's office life is this, old paradigm taken from Taylorism, which is that, your working time would be your time behind the machine. Forget that. It's not true. Creativity comes from being away from your screen. Therefore, what's your next step? Conclusion of this video. Your next step is to look at your sitting life and to look at every activity which is compatible with one of the three other postures: standing in the middle of nowhere, standing with your belt supported, or walking. And if you match each of these activities with another of the three postures, well, you're gonna have a lot of movement, you're gonna have a lot of posture variation, but you're not gonna have instability. Which is the reason why from now on it should be forbidden that you drink your coffee on your chair.